quilt is very different from the Mondrian, but if you see one of his paintings, you can see where I started thinking about, blocks and lines and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
it's
I
very
love that.
free and very fun.
So that's where looks like the big pattern comes from. But then you do all of this intricate seaming within. Now, where does that inspiration come from?
Oh, that's just in my brain.
just just comes out. And you do this freehand? How? I mean,
It's
I'm
all
not.
done, yeah, it's all done freehand. So I am just let me grab something here.
That'd be great. Yeah, we get examples.
So I have a box of scraps,
Wow. Okay.
and some of them are sewn together already,
Okay.
and some of them aren't. And so I'll just pick up a scrap and something that I like, a color that I like next to it. I'm being a little picky here, sorry. So maybe I decide that I want to put these together.
Yeah.
So then I'll just sew that together, clip that off, and then I'll have a new shape,
Yeah.
and then it'll keep going like that. That's what I do for sort of relaxation, which is silly, but that's just the way it.
Well, no, you're a quilter, right? Of course. Well, that makes complete sense. So your class is in July.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So your class at the Estelle Center is in July. And well, first of all, how did you end up teaching at the Veta Center? Because this is the first time that they're hosting you. And how did you end up teaching?
My friend Irene Roderick taught for them and said, "Hey, Cindy, this is a great place and you should teach here." So I wrote an email and said I was interested, and Sunshine and Jennifer reached out to me, and we talked about, my approach to creativity, about my approach to teaching, and they decided it would be a good fit. So that's how it ended up.
Tell me about your approach to creativity. I mean, as a professional artist, I think someone who's not a professional artist could learn could learn from your approach to creativity. Tell me more.
Well, I think that we all have the ability to be creative. And I think that that's something that gets lost sometimes when we grow up.
Hmm.
Because when we're kids, you have a box of crayons and a coloring book or a paper, and you just, lay down on your stomach and you just draw. You put colors together, you make shapes. You don't worry about, is anybody going to like this? You just are making yourself happy by doing that. Or at least that's what I did when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And so what I want is to help adults do that with fabric, is just to find a place of joy, a place of play and creativity. And it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be anything special even. These little blocks that I make, these guys, I
Yeah.
just make them because they make me happy. And then I decide, okay, well, I've got, a ton of these. I can do something with them. So what I like to do in my classes, I'm not like a my way or the highway teacher. I want to have people come to my class and feel empowered to explore the kind of creative, pursuit that makes them happy.
Mm.
And so I'm not going to tell a student, oh, you're doing that wrong, because there is no wrong in my
Mm.
class. What I'm going to do is I'm going to help you try to express whatever it is you're trying to express, in a way that makes sense to you. I was teaching a class the other day, online, and a student had made what was really a very interesting piece, but she wasn't happy with it. And so some of the other students were saying, "Oh, no, it's fine. You should, blah, 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 blah." And I said, "No, no, no. If you aren't happy with it, then you should take a picture of it, take it down, and try again, because you'll never be happy with it if it doesn't resonate
Mm.
with your heart.
Mm.
You'll just have sewed it up and, people said that was okay. That's not the way I want. I want people to come away from one of my classes feeling like they could go home and, and create something else, something different, something new that they hadn't thought about before, or that they can take some of the techniques or tips that I have about color or about design, and they can go home and they can apply those to their own practice to make whatever it is that they do better.
Well, one of the things that I really like about the theme of this class is if you're taking inspiration from photographs, from art, well, that's an endless source of inspiration.
Right.
So
Yeah.
being able to translate, well, wow, I love that Mondrian or Picasso or whatever, and what would I do with that, and where that's a jumping off point. Like there's no creative block there. Like that you're
Exactly.
always going to have
Yes.
something that you resonate with that you go, huh. Now, does that ever become intimidating? Like, oh, gee, I love this. Was it Modigliani, Modini? Who was the
Mondrian.
Mondrian? Sorry. So, oh gosh, I could never do something that great. Is there ever a point where it's like,
But you don't have to. You're not trying to be that artist. You're just trying to, sort of access that artist's color, palette, or a shape that they, that they used, or, even a mood. I have this quilt that that I made that is one of my favorites. And I'll put it up here on top of these. And it is inspired by Matisse.
oh, I love this. Yeah.
So I love this piece. And here's one of Matisse collage cutouts
Yeah.
that, and here's another one on the back. So this piece doesn't look like
Yeah.
either
Right.
of those,
Right.
but the energy of it
Yes.
is that.
Yes.
And the colors are from that particular artist. And so those are the things that I'm trying to, to kind of help people access, because, you can find, you, I mean, I'm an art history major, so I have a lot of, artist stuff in my head.
Mm-hmm.
But you can go to the museum, or you can go to, I have a quilt that I made, a small quilt that I made that was inspired by these flowers at my son's wedding. At an outdoor 2020 COVID wedding. And I made just a little piece that was inspired by the colors of that quilt. Oops.
Wow. Oh, they're beautiful. Oh my gosh, the colors are amazing. Yeah, your sense of color is
But
fantastic.
not you don't, I mean, they're
Right. It's not flowers on a right.
flowers, but they're,
Right.
it's inspired by that. And
Yeah.
so that's a kind of thing that, that my students can do. And
You're
it's,
all sorry, go ahead.
no, I think, you're going back to your question about being intimidating. I, I've, I understand that it can be, but I think the idea that you're not supposed to replicate that, that artist or that photograph can be freeing, because it can be a very simple, like that piece I just showed you. It's very simple. It's just, sort of partial log cabin blocks.
Yeah.
And what I will do is I will teach you some of the techniques that I use in my work that you can, use to bring your, your quilt into reality. And the cool thing about being able to be together for 5 days is that there's lots of time for, for us to chat and to talk. I can, show you the different kinds of techniques that are very accessible, I guess I'd like to say.